What is up with Trump's hands? Look at this. These are actual photographs of Trump's hands yesterday. I'm amazed they're not completely covered in blood from all those airstrikes over the Caribbean and Iran. These are bruises covered in makeup. Look at this. Look at that. That is pancake makeup. This is heavy-duty makeup, doing as good a job hiding the bruises as Trump's doing hiding the fact that he has no clue how to get himself out of the mess he created with Hormuz. Well, he does have a clue. He's just going to continue the mess. So Shell Oil can score record profits. And yes, he's that evil. He's that evil. His hands, he's got Lady Macbeth hands. He's just waking up in the middle of the night, looking at his hands like Lady Macbeth. Trump's Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, testified behind closed doors before the House Oversight Committee, which is in charge of looking into the Epstein files. Lutnick last year said he lived next door to Jeffrey Epstein, visited him once, and then said he would never step foot inside that man's apartment ever again because that man is gross. But then the Epstein files were released, and it turns out after Epstein got his sweetheart deal in Florida and became a known sex offender, Lutnick actively pursued Jeffrey Epstein, having drinks with him. They had a joint business venture. Lutnick took his wife and children to visit Epstein on Epstein's Island. Lutnick is the only cabinet-level employee named in the Epstein files. You got Trump, but he is the big fish right now. He insisted, I never socialized with Epstein after 2005, but he visited Epstein's private island with his family in 2012. 4 years after Epstein was convicted of soliciting a minor in 2008, Lutnick took minors, his small children, to Epstein Island. Lutnick also reportedly had an hour-long meeting at Epstein's home in 2011. Lutnick also previously called Epstein the greatest blackmailer ever, but under testimony yesterday, which we can't see, he took back the statement that Epstein was blackmailing people. He said, I don't know for a fact that he was videotaping people. That was only speculation. Here is Lutnick walking into the hearings yesterday, making himself totally unavailable for answers before the press, the same way he made himself totally unavailable for answers before the committee.
Did you know anything about his life? You got Mr. Secretary,
does that look like an innocent man? Look at that phalanx. Look at that. The hot lights. Look at that. Does that look like an innocent man to you? He may be going. He may be going. After his testimony, which we won't get to see, it wasn't videotaped, we will get the transcript. I have a feeling it may be out already. I can't wait to read it. After his testimony, Democratic Congressman Representative Ro Khanna, who co-authored the Epstein Files Transparency Act, Ro Khanna said Trump would fire Lutnick if he heard yesterday's testimony. Again, the committee did not record the interview. Representative Suhas Subramanian of Virginia demanded Lutnick's resignation. He was there for the testimony. Congresswoman Yasamin Ansari, who represents Arizona's 3rd congressional district, labeled Lutnick a pathological liar, unquote. She came out of the hearings and said he's a pathological liar. And then pathological liar James Comer, who's chairman of the House Oversight Committee, at first told reporters, well, Lutnick has not been 100% truthful, but he defended Lutnick as, quote, forthcoming. Epstein, by the way, donated $50,000 to a 2017 dinner honoring Howard Lutnick when Lutnick was running Cantor Fitzgerald. Then Lutnick in 2015, or before that, Lutnick invited Epstein to a 2015 Hillary Clinton fundraiser. As I said earlier, Lutnick and Epstein invested in a joint business venture in 2013. And then there's this picture from the Epstein files. Who could this be? Is that Howard Lutnick, who insisted during testimony yesterday that when he said, I would never be alone with Epstein because he's gross, when I said I would never be alone, this is what he literally said. He said, I didn't lie. He said, when I said I would never be alone with Epstein, it didn't mean I wouldn't be alone with my wife and family with him. I wasn't lying. I was never alone with him. He literally said, I was never alone with him. I brought my wife and kids. Like, that makes it better. More from Congressman Ro Khanna, who, along with Thomas Massie, Republican Thomas Massie, Ro Khanna is the Democrat, Congressman Ro Khanna co-authored the Epstein Files Transparency Act.
We know why that interview was not videotaped. If Donald Trump had seen the video transcript, he would have fired Howard Lutnick. It was really embarrassing. He was asked very straightforward questions about whether he regretted misleading the American people. I mean, he said that he would never see Epstein again in 2005. And everyone knows that he took his wife and kids to see Epstein in 2012. And yet it was just contortions and lies and no acknowledgement that he misled the American public. And if you saw the exchanges that my colleagues had with him, you would see he made a farce of the English language. I mean, he was trying to define I as if saying that what he really meant is that he would not see Epstein alone, but be totally fine with having his wife and kids see Epstein. It made no sense. And then he's raised even more serious concerns about the investigation. He originally had said that Epstein engaged in blackmail and recorded videotapes. Now he's saying, well, he was wrong. He was just speculating, and Epstein actually didn't engage in blackmailing. This raises the question of what the cover-up is. Did someone tell him to say that? I've not heard that that Epstein never engaged in blackmail. Why is Howard Lutnick changing his testimony, changing his story? He's lost all credibility, and really it's a shame that the American people don't get to see what he did there. Total lack of truth and lack of honesty.
That's what they call in politics a money quote. That is a very that's disciplined messaging. Ro Khanna hit all the right points. That is a perfect quote that sums up the testimony. It's called a money quote because reporters can play clips of that all over the world, and it's disciplined messaging, except for the fact that Ro Khanna is worth several $100 million and can afford an $8 million home in Malibu and then some. I like this guy, except for the fact that he's not Katie Porter. I would vote for Katie Porter because she has actual skin in the game. Ro Khanna is pretty impressive. So that's a great quote. We haven't read the transcripts yet. What they're saying is it was a total abject humiliation, that he was sweating profusely, and he kept saying, it's inexplicable. I can't explain why I went to the island. He said, it happened. It was innocent. It was a family vacation. We were in the Virgin Islands. the lunch only lasted an hour. And then he claims he found the invitation, quote unquote, unsettling because he didn't know how Epstein's assistant knew they were in the islands and were able to contact him. I'm going to get back to that in a second. He said, I just don't know how it happened that we went to the island. But he said, I for the life of me, I find it unsettling that Epstein knew where I was and was able to invite me. Well, yeah. It doesn't take much to research this crap. Kate Sullivan from Bloomberg, I have this in my files, she reported on January 30th of this year that Howard Lutnick begged to visit Epstein's island. It's in the Epstein files. And Kate Sullivan found these emails from Lutnick's wife to Jeffrey Epstein in December of 2012. That would be 7 years after Jeffrey Epstein was a known pedophile? In December 2012, the Epstein files show emails from December of 2012 where Lutnick is soliciting Epstein for an invitation to Pedo Island, asking, can I bring my wife and family and another couple with small children? They had small children. And Lutnick in the email says, I'm island hopping and I want to include you in my itinerary. But he'll testify before the committee. Apparently, I found it unsettling that his assistant knew I was in the islands, in the Virgin Islands. Really? Because your wife sent several emails begging for an invitation, saying, hey, we're in the Virgin Islands. Can we come visit? Pam Bondi, the former Attorney General, is also expected to go before the committee. She will not be sworn in. However, lying before the committee does carry with it the penalty of perjury, even if you're not sworn in.